Alright, so I already recorded this video here today, but I'm just going to explain the two pictures on the thumbnail for the video. I got dirt on my face. Anyways, I guess the sigil on the left, I believe anyways, the one with Saturn, Pluto in the middle of the triangle, Mars and the moon, and the triangle pointing down, that's a transformation sigil. You'll see that within the video at the end. I give all the videos that Uncle Birch teaches with the transformation sigil and shields up, because since I'm talking about how to protect yourself, and I give a specific example of people trying to harm witches in this video. That's what the video is based on, and it's from Uncle Birch, of course. So I use 2 or 3 of Uncle Birch's videos to show you about that transformation sigil. Now, in my previous video, I talked about practicing magic and using the sigil for the orange ball. Just practice it. Well, that's the other picture. The other sigil in my thumbnail picture is the sigil to, I think I got my third eye. Look at that, line up. Close enough. Anyways, that's the sigil to get an orange ball to appear in your yard from Xavier. And I couldn't find the video. I watched 4 or 5 videos, and then I found the one where he at least gives that sigil and he talks about it, and he also talks about using fear or anger to bring money to him in this video. So I put that all in there for you, just so you hear it, so you know I'm not just talking out my ass, citing where I get my information from, people I learned from. So anyways, without further ado, let's get to your regular scheduled programming. Well, I guess if you're using this to program yourself, then I guess it would be programming. So program yourself that you're a witch, everything that comes along with being a witch, everything that witches are capable of in other people's minds, that's all within that term. So if you are aligned with that personification that you are a witch, that makes you hella powerful. So embody that, use that, but beware. Anyways, the rest of the video will say the rest. But use this as proof that, to program yourself further, that this shit is real. Anyways, pipes. Merry Christmas, y'all. Happy holidays. Have a safe New Year. And protect yourself and your family.
Alright, yeah, my hair's a little messy. No worries, everybody. I gotta go get prescriptions from shoppers there before holidays and all that. But, so the Wizard put out something yesterday. I'm not gonna talk about that. Actually, minus, the shitting on affirmations and all that. But the way he discussed affirmations is actually factual. The way he said to do affirmations is factual. But I'm telling you right now, maybe affirmations, but he says your soul has to be in line with what you're trying to manifest for it to manifest. And I'm telling you right now, that's also false. Because you can, who knows? Maybe, because I manifest what I want. It happens all the time, okay? And when I'm manifesting money, it's not necessarily in line with my heart's desire. If my heart's desire, like him, for example, if he manifests money, but yet says his soul desires to go fucking surfing, well, does that mean he can only manifest money when it has to do with surfing? Those are the things I don't quite understand whenever he talks, but I'm choosing to not even dive into that. But what I'm saying is, you can simply use the techniques that we've learned from trial and error from the centuries over and over again to put suggestions in your subconscious mind that will play out if you do everything right. He's not wrong about the subconscious programming. That's something I go into often. If you have a program in your mind that money is evil and you're trying to manifest money, well, that's going to clash and it's not going to allow you to have it. Sabotage via blocking, all those things. That's bang on the way he explained that. So, and he went through a lot of really good things there. He got personal on personal levels. It was actually, I was supposed to like it. I don't think I liked it yet, so I'm going to go like it because I like putting likes on those videos to show my support. But above all, it's in my liked videos now, and it's like, okay, well, I like these videos for a specific reason, so I can go back and I can rewatch them because I really believe there's power in rewatching things. Who knows, maybe next time I watch it, I'll see something I should shit on, but I don't want to shit on things. But I'm not even going to talk about that. Yesterday, at work, I've been doing my new job. People know that. I'm learning quite a bit. Eavesdropping, siding, masonry, and bricklaying. All these things. And these are all things I want to know how to build a house from the ground up. I do. And I've done roofing now. I've done concrete work. I've done painting inside. I've done a little bit of drywall. But now I'm learning how to do all the outside work on a house. So all this is going to be useful. I'm going to be able to build houses one day from the ground up. Have all the knowledge on how to do that. And I'm going to have some of the paperwork, the tickets, tickets is the right word, but it's your papers to be a professional contractor, something to that effect. So I'm actually excited about that. However, the guy in charge of the troughing part, Mr. Walker, likes to give me a hard time. Has been giving me a hard time. So I've been sucking it up and just taking it, because I know there's times where I'm asking the wrong questions, or I'm not learning fast enough, or anything like that. It's like, okay, no. His job is to make sure I do it right, because if anything happens to this house, then, if I do a job wrong and then it falls on him, the boss has to come after him. So I get that point of it. But then there's other times where it's just straight up like, I'm on the roof, it's really high, he didn't want to be up there measuring it, so I offer to do it for him. I don't put a harness on or anything like that, because that would take more time. He wants it fast, so I'm doing it fast, and I'm trying to make sure I give him the right measurement, because I don't want him to make a piece of trough with this metal, these big metal bins, these big metal sheets that come all raveled up, worth like $3,000. You take a little piece off that, it's fuck up, whatever. But he's not going to be happy if I take the wrong measurement. So I'm taking a little long to make sure, because the way the roof was, the actual line of the roof versus where the fascia went was two different lines. And it was between the 8th and the 16th. So I was trying to figure out which one would be the best. So I came up with, okay, well, I'll go 2/16 instead of the 1/8. And this way it's a little bit more than less. But he goes up there and he asked me, well, what's taking so long? What is it? Which little line is it at? And I forget how it all played out. This is just one example of these things that happen. So, for example, this isn't something wasting time or anything like that. We're about to go for lunch. Anyways, he wanted the measurement before lunch. And he's like, well, is it the little lines, or is it the other lines that's a little bit bigger? I'm like, okay, well, do you want the 8th or do you want 2/16? But what he was doing was trying to embarrass me or mock me or whatever the case was. And there's little things like that I don't enjoy, especially if I'm up on a high roof and I'm getting anxious because I'm worried about him, trying to mock me in front of everybody and shit like that. So, I did a candle, and I don't know, but anyway, I did a candle to get him off my fucking back a little bit. You know what I mean? And I did a candle to basically any fucking hate or animosity or jealousy or anything that's driving him to do this. I wanted it just to bounce off me and go right back to him. And he was having a rough day yesterday. And he ended up falling off of a fucking stage. Okay? We have this 10-step ladder, which is roughly 12 feet high. The stage is about another 1.5 feet higher than that, where so he's coming down there. So he's probably about 10 feet from the ground when he's coming down. And he was very cautious and nervous coming off of that stage. He already untied it, which he shouldn't have done. I was sitting on the other side to balance out the weight, because when he stands on the other side of the stage, if it's just sitting on two fucking ladders, right, like a teeter-totter, right, he's on the other side, ladders here, stage is here, he wants to walk on this side of the stage, right, so if there's no weight on the other side of the stage, it goes like that. Even if it's tight, it could go up so far and slide out. So I was sitting on there. Well, he fucking fell from that, and I just made the candle the day before for him to back off. So I felt a little fucking responsible. I'm not saying it's my fault that did that, but if he was trying to shoot animosity my way or whatever the case was, well, he got it back, and to the point where he ended up falling down. He fell fucking hard. He had trouble walking. Like, and all the props in the world to the guy, okay? He jumped off that fucking ladder because he knew if he hung on to it, he was taking me down, and I was inside that ladder, and I would have been hurt bad, okay? And this is one of the reasons I felt bad, because what he did was, as soon as he knew he was falling, he dove off to not pull the ladder down. And it was like, man, he could have, I don't know if I would have died because it wasn't very high, but I could have got pretty seriously injured and potentially died as well. So if I'm the one that caused that action that happened to him, I'm not laughing about it, because none of this is funny. Could have been his life, he could have not made it home to his girlfriend, fiance, and all that, and none of that's funny. But it's a good example of binding down the action I wanted. See, I didn't necessarily bind down. Harm-free doesn't always fucking completely work, right? I mean, he was free from harm in the sense of he might only have a few sprains and all that, but, maybe, and I always do harm-free, and, this still happened like that, so who the fuck knows? But it's just a good example to show you guys, watch what the fuck you do, because, hell, I've been slinging spells and things going my way a lot, but there's a lot of times I don't see the other side of what happens, right? So who knows? And I don't use that as an excuse to not get into magic or think it's bad. But that's just a little fast story I wanted to tell you. Anyways, last night after that happened, I went home and I remade that spell to bind down certain things like that. I also put a transformation spell in. That was kind of how I redid it. I used the transformation sigil from Uncle Birch. So instead of reflecting that person's negative energy, I'm going to take his negative energy, well, not energy, that's the wrong way to put it, his negativity, his harmful intent, his jealousy, his, underlying motives. Maybe it's to embarrass me. There was one time somebody gave me a compliment, took off my hat, and was like, wow, look at the hair on this guy, some other contractor. He's like, man, can I take a picture of you? You look like a model. I'll put it on my fridge. I'll give it to my wife for Christmas or whatever. And everybody was laughing except for him. He walked away. And I mean, he's younger than me. He's a good-looking guy. I mean, I'm not gay, but you can tell when people are good-looking. Well, he's a good-looking guy. And in my opinion, he's probably better looking than me. But, when that guy said that to me and not him, maybe it was jealousy. That was the same day he did that tape measure thing. In fact, that was 20 minutes before that. So maybe sometimes you get jealous, because I have a lot of friends on this site too. Like my one buddy Damien's been working there. He got me the job in. So when I end up working with these guys, I'm with them and we're very buddy and friends. Walker is a boss, so people talk with him, but not as much as they would talk with a regular worker like me, right? So he might feel left out. I don't know what the issue is. I really don't. I admire the man, the way his work ethic is, and how fast he learns, and being younger than me, and the things he's already struggled through in his life that we've had conversations about. People always tell me their problems. I admire the man. I just don't like when he does that shit like that. So I redid that fucking spell last night, okay? But it wasn't just for Walker or for people at work. It was for everything. Because like I've been saying, I feel this potentially civil war shit happening, especially now with Trump fucking saying, he wants to, or not he wants to, but people are proposing ideas of martial law and redoing the election and all that. Put a gun to somebody. And that's not really how it works, and I don't know. But to me, the picture I get is a gun to someone's head, vote for me or else. It's like, that's not right. But nonetheless, I redid this thing. And then I listened to Uncle Birch's fucking Wittershins. And I heard something in there. And I want to play this part for y'all. I'm going to play the whole thing. First, I'm going to play a little clip of it. But then I'm going to play the whole thing. Because I think it's important. Because there's a lot of people out there that are Christian, that are witches, that are magical practitioners alike. And they want everybody to live in peace and harmony. And as do I. But it's also very good. And once again, to don't focus on the things you don't want to expand is one of my main philosophies. So I don't want you putting much focused attention into this, because we don't want to make this worse. But you also need to understand that there is things outside of you that you can't control. And certain people you go around, I'm not telling you to hide or pretend you're somebody different than what you are. But some of the best magicians have hidden in plain sight. Occult, so we talk about the occult, it's hidden in plain sight. Why is that? Because some people are scared of what they don't know and understand. Well, I don't know if it's Jewish or Christian, because I know there's some Jewish talk in there about blowing a ram's horn, but it's actively against witches to the point of they want to kill us. And this is like 2020. This is like, I think, November. I mean, it's pretty shitty. It's pretty shitty that I have to put content on here that show that there are either Christian or Jewish or other religious groups that want witches to be dead and think what we're the evil. And I'm not going out here trying to harm anybody. And maybe I did harm that guy. And you can say, well, that's not right, Corey. Well, it's not right for him to fucking shit on me all day long out of jealousy or spite, or just wanting to make me look fucking ridiculous. Or maybe wants me to quit, you know what I mean? That's not right. And I didn't ask for him to fall from a fucking ladder. I asked for him to knock off his shit. Initially, I asked for all the energy he sent at me to bounce off me and hit him. So basically, he harmed himself, because he put out he put out energy to affect me. And my shields were fucking up, bounced off me, hit him, and he fell off a fucking ladder. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not saying I did this on purpose. I'm not saying any of that. It could have just been, maybe he fucking drank. Maybe he smoked a joint. Maybe he had a lot on his mind. Maybe he was stressed. Who the fuck knows? I don't fucking know. I was worried about the guy. I was very much worried about him, and I felt bad. Like I said, he jumped off there so I wouldn't fucking fall with him. And that's a pretty selfless act. He's not a bad guy whatsoever. But everybody has these little fucking things they gotta work on. That's all. That's like the moral of life's story. We all have issues that we have to fucking actively work on. But what I'm trying to focus on instead of that is the fact that I didn't know. I mean, I knew I wanted to redo this sigil, my spell, because I didn't want anybody to get hurt. And I figured transforming energy, turning it into loving energy so that he doesn't act like a dick towards me and he doesn't have to get harmed and hit by his own negativity, I think that's better. But I made it broad for anybody And I think I made it just in time for this shit, because I had no idea there was these people plotting against witches and trying to get people on their side. So instead of putting that being witches and witchcraft is all bullshit, they're saying, no, this shit's real, and people are throwing curses, and we need to fucking kill and do away with these people. And so I want to play that so everybody can hear that. So I'm going to do that right now for you, and I'll be back on in a second.
Oh, here we go. We are come together now, this quote, as American patriots, to let the Marxists know you will not have our educational system. You will not have our family system. You will not have our social media system. You will not have our religious systems. You will not have our governmental systems. The Jericho walls must come down, he yelled. The bishop then shouted, this is what I learned about witchcraft. You got to tell a witch. You got to look them right in the eye and say, I'm coming after you. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Tell me how that works out. This is your last day. This is your last time. Every curse you cursed against our president and against our nation is going to double fall back on your head. The Jericho walls must come down. Now, I must interject. As a witch, you get up on me and make a threat like that, I have to end you. My family's now in danger. You know, you're coming after me. No, I can't allow you to come after me. So, you know, if you're going to come after me, you probably shouldn't tell me that, because if you do, then you dead, some bitch. Okay. Anyway, I ain't your grandma's witchcraft, man. We ain't going down like that.
It's Hammer.
Fuck. He further said, when you shout, and I got a few seconds now, but when you shout at the devil, shout, just understand you're shouting for not only this generation, but you're shouting a legacy for the next generation, because the demons we kill now, our children will not have to fight. These devils, these are our devils, and we will kill them now. They will not bite our children. The Jericho walls must come down. Yeah, let's just scroll back up for just a minute, kids. Bishop Benjamin from the New Life Harvest Church in Richmond, Virginia. That's Bishop Benjamin, New Life Harvest Church, Richmond, Virginia. Trump's unhinged. Look at that headline.
Trump unhinged on CNN. Never thought I'd see the day.
Let's see.
Hospitals serve.
All right, so I recorded a little bit more than that, but I don't know if there's much more about that specifically. So, depending on where you are and who you are and what you do and how you are, like, for example, someone who's in the collective, if you are now a witch, magical practitioner, whatever you decide that you are, you actively take on that personification. There's power in that. I have episodes about that. There's power in taking on that personification. When you take on the personification that I'm a fucking witch, well, that means everything, everybody ever put power into fear as well, which fear is very powerful energy. So you can take that and use that to your benefit. I'm just saying. But if you use that term, I'm a witch, well, then these people are against you. That is also in the collective. So you gotta be careful. You gotta protect yourself. So I don't want you to focus on this shit. I don't want you actively going out there and looking at this guy, attacking this guy and all that. That's up to you. You want to fucking do that, do that. That's why Birch said his fucking name over again where he was. Because, you know, sympathetic link is best. But even if you can find this guy's signature somewhere, that would serve the purpose to straight up curse, shoot something at him, whatever you want to do. I don't do that. I did that once. I don't do that anymore. But knowing his name, I can actually make a fucking spell, transformation sigil, which I already have going right now. Meaning any energy, any fucking thoughts, anything he wants to send at me, this motherfucker, or any of his little fucking groupies and cronies, whoever is on his side, they will not harm me. They come close enough to me, and their hate, rage, and all that shit will be transformed into something that I can use to my benefit, and or something that will be used to push them away. That's my way of using my transformation sigil. However, knowing who your opponent is, at least some of them, knowing their names, there's power in that. You can actively protect against that. So if you know this now, especially if you're near that son of a bitch, thank God he didn't get into power. Thank God for that. Imagine if he got elected to whatever fucking thing he was trying to get. Oh, you didn't hear that part yet. You'll hear that in the longer part. But he was trying to be elected for something, and he didn't get elected in 2020. Now he's doing this shit. This has to do somehow with the fucking with Trump. I'll play the fucking longer part right now for you to hear. At least the first part. Maybe whenever it starts saying the same shit again, I'll just stop it. But let's do that.
My pagan news in easy to digest little forms. Let's see. Headlines.
And you like pictures and graphics and stuff.
Yeah, all that. It works
like
really.
Trump has to have illustrations.
It totally helps me for radio. Pagan community notes, pastor at Jericho March calls for death of witches. A heathen group challenges trademark application. Heathens react to Murdoch AFA decision, and more news from the Wild Hunt. Washington on December 12, 2020, thousands of pro-Trump evangelical supporters gathered at the Jericho March at the National Mall to support the president's effort to overturn the 2020 election results and stop the steal. See, look at me. I'm trying to go over here into the witchy stuff, because we've been so political, because we've got to do radio for our spiritual side.
Yeah.
And we jumped over here to our spiritual side, and look, they're talking about Trump already. It's not our fault, man. All right, anyway, stop the steal. Groups of protesters and counter-protesters all gathered in front of the Supreme Court at Freedom Plaza. The Jericho March was described on its website as a prayer rally with speakers praying for the walls of corruption and election fraud to fall down. One speaker was Bishop Leon Benjamin of the New Life Harvest Church in Richmond, Virginia. That's the New Life Harvest Church in Richmond, Virginia. You may want to remember that later. Who ran for election to the U.S. House to represent Virginia's 4th Congressional District. He lost in the general election on November 3rd, 2020. At the Jericho rally, Bishop Benjamin held a shofar, a musical instrument made from the horn of a ram, and used during important Jewish religious observances, and called on the, quote, patriots to announce that, quote, Jericho walls must come down, end quote, in the name of Jesus, who, quote, will rule in America, end quote. The call echoes the biblical story of Jericho, Joshua at Jericho. Bishop Benjamin proceeded into a denunciation of plaques in America. Wait, plaques? No, plagues? That's plagues this time.
Let me see. Yeah, that's plagues.
Plagues. Plagues in America, but primarily Marxism and witchcraft. We come together.
Well, we could have Marxists and plaques.
Yeah, we could totally do that.
Here.
Yeah.
So either way would be fine.
Witchy plaques? Okay.
Yeah.
Marxist
plaques?
Here we go. We are come together now, this quote, as American patriots, to let the Marxists know you will not have our educational system. You will not have our family system. You will not have our social media system. You will not have our religious systems. You will not have our governmental systems. The Jericho walls must come down, he yelled. The bishop then shouted, this is what I learned about witchcraft. You got to tell a witch. You got to look them right in the eye and say, I'm coming after you. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Tell me how that works out. This is your last day. This is your last time. Every curse you cursed against our president and against our nation is going to double fall back on your head. The Jericho walls must come down. Now, I must interject. As a witch, you get up on me and make a threat like that, I have to end you. My family's now in danger. You're coming after me. No, I can't allow you to come after me. So, if you're going to come after me, you probably shouldn't tell me that, because if you do, then you dead, son bitch. Okay. Anyway, I ain't your grandma's witchcraft, man. We ain't going down like that.
It's Hammer.
Fuck. Yeah. So I agree with Birch. If anybody threatens me, I'm going to do my best to not harm anybody. Forgive them. Universe, they know not what they fucking do. These people are scared of what they don't understand. Now, there are a bunch of witches that fucking went out there and said they fucking actively, openly cursed fucking and binded Trump and all that shit. Whatever. But I'm not part of that. I'm not one of those fucking witches, so why the fuck should I have to sacrifice? I be harmed because of the witches that wanted to do that. Once again, I'm open to that. Everybody can choose to do this shit. So, if you're not doing witchcraft, yet you believe it's something that can be useful, then why the fuck aren't you doing it? Aren't you trying to reverse engineer it or use it in a way that's productive? Or use it in a way to try to stop other people from using it? If you're actually going to go out there and say, witches, whether I believe in you or don't believe in you, I'm coming to kill you. It's like, well, no, if you only want to kill witches if you think we can actually do something. And if we can actually do something, why aren't you doing it? Because God doesn't like it? Because of these new translations in the Bible that they changed pharmakia, the original word, were for sorcery and witchcraft. I think it was sorcery or magic. It was changed from pharmakia, which is where we get the word pharmacy from. That was in the Bible prior to that. Just like thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, used to be thou shalt not suffer a poisoner to live. Which also, once again, most drugs are a type of poison, just like alcohol. So if you go to the pharmacy and get a drug, I mean, you're putting poison in your system, chemicals, you know what I mean? So these things condemn what our society probably uses one of the most of. Yet, you're going to just take these quotes, not do any fucking information on it, and decide to fucking condemn us, come after us, because we may or may not be able to do shit with our fucking mind and our will. It's like we're all doing the same shit, buddy. In my opinion, everybody's doing fucking magic and witchcraft. Everybody is. We're just conscious of it. It's the only fucking difference between me and that fucking pastor, which he probably actually is conscious of it, and he's just pretending he's not. Best offense is a good defense, or best defense is a good offense. So I don't want anybody to find out I'm a witch, so I'm going to be the biggest voice saying against witchcraft. Like, fuck off, Pastor Dick. Go fuck yourself. I got nothing against anybody. Any Catholic people that want to be witches. All the power to you, bud. If you can go out there and explain how you can manifest things and money while also having your Catholic programming, then you would probably be a really good voice on the fucking internet. There's probably a lot of people looking for that. I seem to think that there's a lot of steps you got to take to remove certain programming or get around that programming, sidestep it, as it were, which is what I had to do. But anybody out there who's just Catholic and doesn't like witchcraft, well, that's fine. We don't have to fight. There's no reason for that. But if you're going to come out there and actively say, I'm coming for you, I'm killing you, like calling us a demon and get rid of these demons so our kids don't have demons. It's like, that's stupid. That's a stupid logic. That's unbelievably naive logic. Whether you're a parent or not, you should at least have the foresight and knowledge to know that if you decide, even if we could eradicate the world of all the diseases right now, there'd be more spring up. Whatever we do, whatever evil we get rid of, 2 more heads are going to pop up. The Hydra, you know what I mean? There's no way to get rid of all the evil. Now, we can choose to do less evil acts, and that would reduce the amount of suffering in the world, probably tremendously. But the things that happen naturally, just the natural decay process, you know what I mean? Can't stop that. There's no stopping that. So for us to have to fight, for you to come after me, I'm guilty of something that you can't prove I did, but throwing curses at the president, and you're going to put me to death. Why? Because you think I'm trying to put him to death? So eye for an eye? Like it makes no sense. This logic is not logic. It's just stupidity. People being guided by their fucking emotions. This is what happens when you don't think enough. Thunder was just going on about people thinking too much. Well, I seem to think there's enough people out here that should be thinking a fucking lot more. Trying to use their intellect a little bit fucking more and their critical thinking a little more. So these fucking idiots don't end up mob mentality like, yeah, let's go kill a witch. Do this shit again. Like, are you fucking kidding me? When the witches, if they were on the right side and aim, they could teach people how to use their own power, first and foremost, and it could actually make a change in the world. But instead of doing that, let's just keep the world in this backwards, fucking stupid way it is. It's gonna make me angry. Straight up. I don't like anybody ever saying they're gonna go around killing witches. I don't fucking like it one fucking bit. So, like I did, y'all should do too. I don't care if you're not a witch. If you're just a magical practitioner. If you divine, if you do astrology, if you law of attraction, affirmations, any of this new age stuff, they will consider you a fucking witch. And if they consider you a witch or a magician or whatever the case is, you will be in trouble if this ever happens. And with these threats of martial law and shit like that, we're at a tipping point where this stuff is more likely to happen than it ever has been since probably World War II or the other wars that happened after that. We're probably closer than ever. So if you don't want to be harmed, you need to figure some shit out. And, you know, I'm not going to do it right now, but maybe that's what maybe I should have a video about how to do that sigil, that transformation sigil on a candle. I don't feel right doing that because it's something I learned from Birch. Birch teaches in his paid programs how to use that. I learned from just his channel. I never bought a paid program from Birch, actually. But I learned from his paid channel, or his free channel. He showed that sigil, the transformation sigil. He shows his whole process. He's got a transformation bowl. He puts the transformation sigil on, try to transform poverty. So that's how I learned how to do it. I do it my specific way, and I used to second judge it, like, oh fuck, maybe it's not how Birch does it. I got that off my mind long enough, and now I can now it works for me. I don't have to know how Birch does it. He might do it a different way. And maybe one of these days, like with Frater Xavier, I might be curious enough to buy his program to find out how he actually does it, to see if it's similar to my way. But, you know, I do it my way, and it works. I can transform whatever the fuck I want. A sigil. It's just you activate a sigil any way you activate any other sigil. So, and, you know, draw it on a fucking candle, and it's got energy into it, and then the candle burns away, and it goes in the astral. Now you're, you know, protect yourselves. You know, take the deity of the day. Today is Thursday. Jupiter's great for protection. He's the big guy taking the hits for us up there in the solar system. So as above, so below. He'll take the hits for you down here too. Now, invoke Jupiter to protect you, and then take that transformation sigil and use that to fucking transform anything that may get by Jupiter, or even before it gets to Jupiter if you want. And Jupiter could be your last line of defense. You know what I mean? Jupiter's a shield. Mars is the sword. Saturn, Mercury would be, you know, the staff, I guess, the wand, whatever. But, you know, there's the shield and the sword. We gotta use this shield just as much as we use the fucking sword. And, you know, with things like that, thank God it's not big time, it's not big press or anything like that, but things can snowball very fast sometimes. So don't give it too much energy, because it does not need any more energy or any more spotlight on it at all whatsoever. It's something I should just die and be gone with and no one ever utter again. But it's not. So anyways, protect yourselves. Fucking do a little ritual. Practice the shields up technique. There's many ways to do it. If I have time, I will make my next video about specific practices, how to protect yourselves. I already have this. You can go back into the archives, my channel, and find it if you feel the need to. I don't know exactly where, but you can find that on my channel. Protection and Reversal and something else by Jason Miller is a great book for that. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in once again. I guess I did make another episode, but just want people to know that Merry Christmas. Some people want witches to be dead, and fuck all that shit. No one's ever going to kill us. Anyways, have yourselves a great fucking Christmas and holiday.
One of my viewers / customers came in and clarified what she wanted me to show you guys how to do. So I hope there's more of you that want to know how to do this. Here we go. Banish poverty. Now, as we know, listening to the videos or watching the videos that we already watched, banishing poverty has to be followed up with what, kids? Invoking. Invoke the thing that we want. Don't just banish the poverty. So first of all, there's a little spell I'm throwing together here. It'll work, and you can add to it and make it work even bigger, even better. And what I've done here is I've assembled me an image of poverty. I found that on the internet. I Googled poverty pick. Poverty pick. And I came up with an image of poverty. Now,
for the big spell, I would want to assemble a bunch of images of poverty, but we're going to work with this one thing. We have this image of poverty. Since dragon's blood's so hard to come by, I got me a magic marker. Magic marker. I banish thee. Because it sounds old school. I banish thee. I'm right on there. And right here. On this, I'm going to draw a counterclockwise universal symbol of no. Circle slash. Circle slash can be used as our magical symbol because everybody knows it. It's no. No. No poverty. Then, I need to burn this. I need to change this from the form that it's in now into another form. What I'm going to do is burn it. Because in our religion, we love to burn things. And I'm going to add some special transformation incense that they make over at that Sacred Grove place. Yeah, make sure this flames up good, 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 good. Banishing incense would work well too, but there we go. That's what I want to have happen. Now, I have already transformed my symbol of poverty into something else. By fire and air and these transformation things, I'm going to stir it counterclockwise with my special magic stirry stick one. Let the ashes get down there. Make sure it's all ash. All of it's got to be reduced to ash. I'll hit it with my blessed Bic a couple times if I have to. And now, you see it? Almost. Now I must pour it in to my transformation vessel. By looking at the transformation vessel, you should be able to figure out how to make your own transformation vessel at home. Now I'm going to transform this. See that one? I also Googled wealth pick, and came up with this fine image. This fine image for my purposes. I'm going to put this into my transformation vessel. I got my checkbook here. I'm going to write myself a check. Let's see, today is... And 1,000,000. Yep, I think that's $1 million. Pay the order of me. The order of me. You know, of course, if I was chanting in Greek right now, it'd probably help. Let's $1 million. And in the notes section, I'm going to put so mote it be. And I'm not going to show you the check, because then you'd have, my name and my bank routing number and all that kind of crap. Unless you wanted to put money into the bank, maybe $1 million or so. And I'm going to fold this sucker up. Try and make a triangle out of it. Close enough. I could then douse this with money oil or something. There's lots of things I can do with this. I'm going to throw that in there. I've got some money. I'm going to throw some money in there. A lodestone. Can you see it? I picked the furriest lodestone I had. Put lodestone in there. Sassafras. Put some sassafras in there. Pinch or 3. Sorry if I'm going fast for you, but I want to get it in my 10 minutes. Galangal root, however the hell you want to say that. 3 roots. 1, 2, 3. Benzoin. Alright, I want to get a chunk of benzoin in there because I know what I'm going to do with it later. You don't yet know what I'm going to do with it later, so you don't know why I need that. Little Irish moss, 3 pinches. Galango, I already did all those. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes! That's them in my vessel of transformation, which I will now stir clockwise, chanting cool words, maybe something like, elfenta, duer, shindin duer, freguer, fucking wee, oseriathex sepapler, volor, necrom borelia, or words that work for you like that. Now, this part's a little trickier. Let's see if I can angle my webcam to see what the hell I'm doing. I got me some green cloth. I'm going to now put my symbols in. Put my diabolical brew in here. I fold up the paper. Best I can. That's my time, 7:51. All right, I'm doing good. Doing good. Green cloth. Purple string. One, 2, motherfucker, and 3 knots on this sucker. Now I have my money, or my wealth transformation mojo. It's like a battery of Ouija stuff. All of these components react upon each other and react to their close proximity to each other in here, generating power. And the way that they're getting their sources of the power that they're generating is they're getting it off of me, because it's going to be my pocket. Me, it's going to be in my left pocket, my receiving pocket. Take it with my receiving hand. I could douse this now in money oil. 3 drops of my own blood. That would have been really good to do there. I was sure that I probably wouldn't bleed fast enough in 10 minutes if I tried to do that here. Add something of yourself to the mix in here. You got your little battery. It's beyond just a money mojo. This is a transforming poverty mojo. This could even have an effect on that little Indian village that was in our picture. Who knows? Maybe we just banished poverty in their little town. Who knows, man? Butterfly flapped its wings. Howdy, kids. Uncle Birch with another episode. Today, psychic defense and shielding. I was just watching a video over at Mystery School. Gave me the idea to do this video because I have so many videos I mean to do. I forget. I should write them all down at some point. But folks over at Mystery School give me a lot of plugs, and I've found that out because my viewers keep telling me so. But I haven't been able to thank them because you can't leave any comments on the webpage. But clearly they watch. I was just watching a video on Mystery School, a honey jar, and I saw a candle that I made in the video. I make thousands of candles, and the people that work here make candles as well, but I remember every one that I made out of those thousands. They're like my little children out there doing stuff in the world. I love when I see videos with my stuff in them. There's several videos out there where people bought tools for me and things in the video. I forget John's channel, but the guy that talked me into doing videos, he often has my stuff
in his videos. But today, the shielding and psychic defense without stuff. We have plenty of stuff for psychic defense, for protection. You can always visit our website at sacredgrovesantacruz.com. It's mostly the things that we make on the website. We don't fill it with jewelry and a lot of other things. Probably will do that at some point, but haven't done that. So mostly what you see there at sacredgrovesantacruz.com is the things that we make: potions, lotions, brews, stews, that kind of thing. But you don't always have something on you, right? So you're going to need to shield all the time. You know, when you're going to sleep, it's when you're most vulnerable. Actually, when you've been asleep for a while, like 3 in the morning, is the most vulnerable time. So for me, in addition to all the other ritual stuff that I do, I come up with different ideas. And one of the things that I do is the thing that I'll teach you now. First, over at Mystery School, they hit on what was it called? The fourfold breath. Great idea, great idea. It is important when you're trying to relax, and relaxation, concentration, and projection being the 3 keys of magic. So first, we need to relax. Hope that truck wasn't too loud. And one of the best keys for relaxing is rhythmic breathing, and he gives a great technique over at Mystery School, the fourfold breath. Inhale, hold it for 4 seconds. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, release it, hold that release for 4 seconds, then repeat the process. And as he says, if you can't do 4 seconds, maybe you need to stop smoking or something. But if you can't do 4 seconds, you could do 2 seconds, 3 seconds, change that rule accordingly. But the rhythmic breathing is really important. So you're going to relax, and I want you to think about this while you're relaxing, while you're practicing your rhythmic breathing. Some people confuse the word ritual with religious rites. Our religious rites are rituals, but ritual really means more akin to the word habit. That's why we call the morning ritual, and often, morning rituals, getting coffee, checking the news, working out, whatever your morning routine is. Routine is ritual. And that idea kind of gets lost in the equation when we think of it as religious rite. But what it means there is that our religious rites are supposed to become habitual. So we repeat the processes so many times that they automatically take on their own rhythm. They automatically start happening. So you establish this process that I'm going to teach you, and you keep doing it, and then you're able to make it easier. So what we do, first we relaxed, and we speak the words, or shout them out in our minds, because maybe, we live with somebody, we don't want to wake them up. Shields up. Shields up. I borrow a lot of ideas from Star Trek. Shields up, we say. And when we say shields up, we visualize projecting our aura, pushing our aura out, changing the color of our aura. There may be many colors in our aura, but we want to visualize a shell on our aura of purple light, purplish, bluish light. Blue, I've seen blue done as well, but I like purple. Purple, and we fill the purple light with little gold flecks, sparkly flecks, almost like glitter floating around, or gold flakes floating around in our aura. We push that out, and we tell that aura, you're going to shield me from negativity sent from other sources. You're going to shield me from negativity sent from other sources. Now, you want to make that even better? I'll give you another one. Now, first of all, I'm not going to make it easy for you, because in my tradition, we were taught that it is the seeking of knowledge that brings wisdom, not the giving of knowledge. So if you seek on my video channel, you'll find a video called Transforming Poverty.
In the video Transforming Poverty, I give away a little transformation sigil that I came up with based on some of my mother, my mom, I call her Judith Dufresne's work. Transformation triangle. And in this video, I use this transformation triangle for transforming poverty into money. But it's a transformation triangle. It can be used for anything. It's the most devious thing to use in protective magic. Because if you ever actually get attacked and you're using the transformation work, your attacker feels it on the other end. You know, if it's a good attacker that knows their shit, you're going to feel the sucking feeling on the other end. Now, a good attacker, when the shield's up, will feel a reflecting beam. Some of the energy being sent out will come back at them. It's like their SWR is off, if you know what that means. Some of the reflected power coming back, and then they'll, an experienced practitioner will then have to find a way around your shields or through your shields, that kind of thing. But if you're doing transformation, you're accepting the energy, transforming it into positive energy for your own use. So you can use the transformation triangle to take all that negativity sent to you by your enemies and turn it into, I don't know, money, love, winning lottery tickets. Your enemies make you get stronger. It's guerrilla witchcraft. Feed off your enemies, if you have enemies. If not, maybe you should make some enemies. It's a great way to get free power, to get free energy from other people who are going to waste it and send it at you. So, if you've gone and you've seen that video and you've learned how to use that sigil, we can use that as part of our shields. We can project that sigil into our shields visually. We visualize that sigil surrounding our shield. And this will be our shield. We're going to do this every night. Shields up. Shields up, shields up. We're going to project this thing, shields up, shields up. And if you do it enough, you've established a ritual. You've established something that's habitual. And then when you're, too drunk, or you just need to pass out for whatever reason, you just say, shields up. And then, the shields go up. Granted that you've done the original ritual, I guess. Granted that you've done that enough times, it becomes habitual. Then you can just say shields up when you need to, when you don't have that time to go through the visualization, relax, and project all that stuff. And if you are going to bed drunk, well, you're definitely vulnerable. So you definitely need to get your shields up. So you need to have some sort of practice. You could even program your subconscious to automatically put up your shields, but that's another class. I always recommend to my students, learn the basics, study magic, study, what's traditional in all the various traditions, and then rock your world, study some chaos magic. Because in chaos magic, they use all of the known magical principles, science fiction, fantasy. They get creative. They come up with other ideas using the standards of witchcraft, the standards of magic, and you start studying chaos magic, it trains you to get creative. The whole use of sigils in my practice is totally borrowed from chaos magic. Granted, I recognize that chaos magic borrowed that concept probably from Solomon in the first place, but that's the thing. Chaos magic is based on magical principles. They just have the ability to get way more creative than a Wiccan or even your average witch would be able to do. Phil Hines, one of my favorite authors on chaos magic, I always recommend his work, and he gets a lot of ideas from Star Trek too. So I'm going to have to answer the phone, so I'll leave you with those ideas for your shields up ritual. Plus a P.
Okay, so I was all ready to do the first lesson on astrology when that subconscious intuitive side of me said, no, you need to do this. And I'm like, really? Okay then. And I know it was the intuitive side of me because it gave me two words, rose cross. And that's something I haven't done in well over a year, if not more, for very good reason. The Rose Cross ritual was the furthest thing from my conscious mind. So, before we get into astrology, which we will, we're going to go over a few other things that you can do to protect yourself against people wishing to do you harm through psychic attack, entities, or just bad vibes in general. Now, the first method, I don't know what it's actually called, but I call it putting your shields up, or return to sender. So when you feel that you're under some kind of bad vibe or something, you put your shields up. So you want to get into a relaxed state, which, by the way, as a side note, if you're having trouble getting into a relaxed state, you need to work on your breathing rhythm. Now, there's an exercise called the fourfold breath, which goes as such. You breathe in for 4, you hold it for 4, you breathe out for 4, you hold that for 4, you breathe in for 4, etc. If you can't hold it for 4, hold it for 2, because the rhythm is more important than the count. You need to get into a rhythm. If you're not breathing in a rhythmic way, then the odds are you're not relaxed enough. And at first you're concentrated on the count, but eventually that count will fade away while you slip into that rhythmic pace required for the theta brainwave state of trance. And this is for all your relaxation exercises at the beginning, and why all the spiritual gurus have you focus on rhythmic breathing. So you get relaxed, and then you want to imagine your aura around you, okay, and visualize your aura. Hopefully you all know what the aura is, the bioelectromagnetic field around your body. If you don't know, then Google will be your friend at this point, because I'm not going to get into all of the aura stuff just yet. Only to say that you imagine it, you visualize it as clearly as you can, and you imagine that the outer part of that aura is turning very, very solid, very, very hard, and very, very reflective, and looks like a mirror, so that anybody looking at you will see themselves, and anything coming at you will bounce off of it and be returned to sender. And you repeat those words over in your mind over and over while you're visualizing return to sender, return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. You don't have to say it out loud. You can just repeat it over and over in your mind. Now, the important thing here is it's not just a one-off. You just don't do this for 5-10 minutes and you're done. You're going to have to keep that shield up the entire time the attack or the bad vibes coming at you are taking place. You may have to do this for several hours. The good news is it's one of the easier visualizations to maintain. As long as you can keep the idea that you are in a bubble, a big metallic reflective bubble the shape of an egg or, whatever, you're doing okay. It doesn't have to be a mirror. You can make it a big, rubber or something. I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything bounces off of me and sticks to you. That might actually be better for the subconscious, that old childhood rhyme saying there. And if you're decent at relaxing, you can go do other things. I mean, you don't just have to just sit there, in the same spot. I've been able to, move around as long as I'm keeping that visualization in my mind. And I've been able to, sit there and watch some TV, which I don't watch a lot of, and just have that feeling of, things bouncing off my shield. And I'd do that for several hours. Now, I've had success with this. Both of these methods that I'm teaching you now, I've had success with. I remember one evening I felt something odd, bad vibes. Something wasn't right. So I put the shields up and I held it for several hours, most of the night. And it was about a day or so later that I was talking with a friend of mine who proceeded to tell me about another mutual friend of ours who was talking shit about several people, myself included. A couple days after that, that particular individual lost his job of 20 years. Coincidence? All magic is going to seem like a coincidence. This isn't baneful magic. These people are doing it to themselves. They're being hit with their own force they've put out. As long as your intent isn't malicious. If you know who's attacking you, there's no need to get upset or angry or any of that. In fact, the happier you can be while you're maintaining this, the more defended you are. Simply by polarity. You need no other thought than return to sender. That's all you need. And it seems to work rather well against gossipers, rumor spreaders, and shit talkers. Okay, so the other method we want to discuss is the Rose Cross ritual. I'm not going to discuss how to do the Rose Cross ritual. You can easily find it online, and I will post a link in the description to a page where you can find the exact method. The Rose Cross works with the aura as well. However, instead of hardening it into a defensive structure, it's shrouding it and concealing it. This is the infamous invisibility ritual, because those wishing to do you harm will not only have a difficult time finding you, but may even lose interest altogether. Now, it's said that when you do the Kabbalistic cross and the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, that you light up the astral plane. Yes, you banish things and keep things at bay, but everything knows where you are. And after the last dream that I had told you about in the previous re-upload of Banishing Entities, that little forward I put about my dream about me doing the Kabbalistic cross, and it lit everything up, that certainly seems to be the case. The Rose Cross does the opposite. The Rose Cross will hide you on the astral. Now, the warning that comes with the Rose Cross is that it just doesn't hide you from those wishing to do you harm. You do not want to do this unless you like being ignored. Family, friends, everyone. It's not that people can't see you physically. They can still see you physically, but your aura is shrouded, and if you're just going about your business, your daily business, you will be ignored. You have to be careful crossing the street after doing this ritual, because drivers may not see you. So use with caution, because in my experience, it seems to last longer than I really wanted it to. I was even being ignored on Facebook and social media. So now you know why I haven't resorted to using it since I've started doing these videos. I actually want people to watch them. No sense in doing a video series if I'm performing the Rose Cross. But somebody out there needs this, because otherwise I wouldn't have been directed into talking about it. I just need to make sure that you understand what you're in for. This is an extremely powerful ritual, and unless you're jumping up and down, waving your arms around, and shouting at the top of your lungs in order to get someone's attention, it's going to be a very lonely and quiet experience for you. I personally have only felt the need to perform it 2 or 3 times myself, and each time seemed to last for a couple weeks. So keep that in. Now we can imagine what that might be like, but that's using form. And we need to use force, the actual force put into the magic. And that's difficult to do if you don't know what that's like. If you've never had the experience, it would be quite difficult to replicate the adrenaline and the jumping around, screaming, and the heart-stopping shock and awe of it, while remaining genuine. Because form can be faked. You have a lot of liberty with visualization. Force, on the other hand, cannot. It has to be genuine. The emotion that you're feeling at the time you're doing your magic is the force that's being put into that magic. which is why things that you don't really care about easily manifest. Because one, your conscious mind isn't dwelling on it. It's out of the way. So it allows it to happen. And two, you didn't really put that much force into it, and you get out of it what you put in as it completes the circuit and manifests. You know, that sigil that I had given you guys earlier about manifesting something in your yard was an easy manifestation because I didn't really put that much. It's not something that you would really care about. So when it happened, that's the exact feeling I got out of it, was kind of like, that's kind of cool. It wasn't like, oh my God, wow. No, it was like, wow, that's pretty cool, you know, big deal. Because it was an experiment, and I didn't really put that much emotion into it. It wasn't something I was depending on or really cared that much about, but yet it was unique enough to where I knew it wasn't a coincidence when it happened. And because people are doing magic all the time anyway, as I said before, use what you got. If you're pissed off and angry all the time, instead of cursing yourself with that anger and wishing more bad things upon you, you know, do something like, oh God, I'm so effing pissed off that I got all this money, while simultaneously visualizing you having the money that you need. But don't be surprised when the money comes and it's accompanied by something that's annoying or pisses you off just as much. And yes, I've done this before too. Because the force that you use is the force that's going to come back to you. So if you try that method, be warned. I don't particularly use that method now, because sometimes it's just not worth it, man. So it's a fine line you got to walk, though, because if you care about something too much, the conscious mind will get in the way and try to block that because you're thinking about it all the time. You actually have to get these things out of your mind after you cast them out there. While on the other hand, if you care about it too little, you're not putting that much force into it, so you're not really getting any big returns.